Hey, it's Kay. Hope you're feeling cute today. After 2 days of touring around Osaka, we headed to Kyoto. It was only an hour train ride from Sekimeta-Kadono, but we had so many places to go to around Kyoto, so we decided to book another hotel. We stayed at the Kyoto Tower Hotel Annex, which was really nice for a 2-day trip. It was spacious enough for 2 people, really clean and convenient since it was only a 5-minute walk to the train station. Good morning! So it's day 4. Right now we're in Kyoto and we're going to Arashiyama Bamboo Forest. When going to very iconic places like the Arashiyama Bamboo Forest, it's best to go there really early before the place gets crowded with tourists so you can really enjoy the view. So we got up around 5 a.m. and took a train going to Arashiyama. Arashiyama is one of the most visited districts in Kyoto. It is the home for temples, shrines, and the iconic bamboo grove. When we reached the grove, we were greeted with a serene and enchanting view of the towering bamboo stalks that created such a surreal atmosphere. One thing I learned on this trip is that the deeper you go along the trail, the less crowded it is. So if you want to get that perfect shot without people in the background, you need to walk a lot more. But it's worth it. Upon exiting the trail of bamboo stalks, you can walk by the beautiful sight of the river. Another iconic place in Arashiyama is the Kimono Forest. Here you can find a collection of gorgeous cylinder-shaped pillars framing the laneway to Randen Tram Station. The Kimono Forest consists of pieces of textile displays dyed in the traditional Kyoryuzen style. When I saw this place, it instantly became one of my favorite places here in Arashiyama because of its beauty and unique concept. While walking along the station, we stumbled upon this novelty shop that sells all sorts of cat things. I was so overwhelmed and overjoyed, I spent almost an hour roaming around the store and ended up buying one thing. This cute lucky cat thingy. As a couple who loves coffee, we really made sure that this was part of our itinerary, the Arabica coffee in Arashiyama. I have tried Arabica in the Philippines, but I was still very curious if it was going to taste the same. Since it was popular, there was quite a long queue before we could enter and buy coffee. But we were too distracted with the display of coffee beans and Arabica merchandise to be bothered. We got the Kyoto latte and a sandwich that I do not have any videos of because I was so hungry that I devoured it immediately. But the coffee was good. Although it was not the best coffee that we tried in Japan, it was still a nice experience. Because it was super hot outside, we entered this souvenir shop to get a UV-safe umbrella, but as usual, we ended up buying more than an umbrella. The shop had so many cool things and they even had a cafe inside. Another thing I developed in Japan was an addiction to Italian soda float. This stuff is so good, I could not get enough of it. And it didn't help that it was on the menu of almost every cafe we went to. They also had a mochi set served with a warm bowl of matcha and sweets. We were so confused on how to eat it, and we thought you were supposed to dip the mochi into the matcha, but it didn't taste right, so I think the proper way to eat it is eat the sweets first and then sip the matcha. And it did taste better. Another place you can visit in Arashiyama is the Iwatayama Monkey Park. To be honest, I did not know that we had to hike for almost an hour uphill to see the monkeys, and I was not prepared. Walking is fine, but hiking is completely different. I was so tired and almost gave up, but thankfully, we got to see a beautiful view of Arashiyama up in the mountain. Was it a nice experience? Yes. Will I do it again? Probably not. The monkeys were cute, but hiking is not for me. It was already past lunchtime when we finished the hike down the mountain, so we were super hungry and the food models displayed outside the restaurants were already looking a bit too real for me. We decided to eat mapo tofu and Chinese steamed buns, which were so yummy. If there was something I would love to do again in Arashiyama, it is to eat. There were so many food stalls and restaurants that we didn't get to try, and we'll surely go back for that. And after eating, we continued to walk around and passed by the Smiffy Sakura bakery and bought some goodies. Then we ate ice cream, took photos, and then went back to the hotel to rest. After a quick nap, we hopped on the nearest bus going to NINENZAKA. The old cobblestone alleys of NINENZAKA are lined with historic Japanese-style buildings, souvenir shops, and cafes. It felt so nice to be surrounded by the historic architecture. And we even got to see a beautiful sunset view with the pagoda and this cute Shiba. If you notice, the sign from this Starbucks, along with the other restaurants, convenience stores, and all the other logos were turned into more neutral and calm tones. And this is one of the reasons why Kyoto is known for being one of the most traditional places in Japan, since they were able to preserve the beautiful and traditional aesthetics. After a whole day of touring, hiking, and eating, it felt so nice to end the day in a chill place, just talking about anything and everything. On our second day in Kyoto, we overslept. We were supposed to wake up at 5 a.m. again so we can avoid the crowd in FUSHIMI INARI shrine, but the hike yesterday really exhausted us. So today we are in Kibune, a small town in the northern mountains of Kyoto. So compared to the heat in the city, this area in Kifune is a lot cooler and not very hot during the summertime. Today we found a kawadoko, or a riverside restaurant that serves kaiseki ryori, which is a traditional Japanese multi-course cuisine. The main course started with the sashimi, or otsukuri, and boiled fish, or kimono, which was like veggies, meat, and seafood. After that, it was followed by the deep fried dish, or the yakimono. The fish was delicious and so fresh. As someone who loves seafood, the taste was familiar, but it was definitely something I have never tried before. Then they served the somen noodle soup, or the suimono, which was definitely my favorite dish in this meal.
It's not optional. How gravity just pulls me right to you.
The last dish they served was the shojuki set, consisting of the rice and miso soup. And they also served a jello dessert to end the meal on a sweet note.
Just comes out right when I'm with you.
After eating that multi-course meal, we needed more dessert.
Hi, we're here at Kifune.
And yes, you guessed it, I ordered Italian soda float again. It is so nice to discover places like this that aren't part of our itinerary, but we still had such a good time.
Hi, got this postcard. Everybody. We translate.
After resting a bit, we went to Kifune Shrine, which was just nearby. This shrine worshipped gods who were associated with water. One thing I regret is not taking time to research the things that you should do when visiting a shrine. When we went there, we saw people bowing, washing their hands in a certain area before entering the shrine. and I think it would have been nicer to be familiar with how they pay respects, so that's definitely something I would like to do when we go back here. Compared to the busy places like Dotonbori and Umeda, it's definitely amazing to be surrounded with nature and spend a peaceful day here in Kifune. While walking back to the bus stop, we passed by the Kifune cosmetic shop and gallery, where we found these interesting crystals that could be used as lucky charms. They have so many interesting things inside that store, and we were so amused. After walking around for a bit, we hopped on a bus and the train going to FUSHIMI INARI. We were supposed to go here earlier in the morning, but since we overslept, when we arrived here, it was super crowded. But like in the bamboo grove, the deeper you go, the lesser the crowd is. And honestly, even though it was crowded, we were still mesmerized with the vibrant vermilion-colored torii gates. Walking through the tunnel of torii gates was a deeply immersive experience, and of course we had to take photos to capture this iconic moment. Our trip to Kyoto was beautiful, and I'm so glad I was able to document some of the memories we had there. I know there's so much more to see and do in Kyoto, and I can't wait to go back. After a whole day of touring around, we went back to the hotel, packed up our things, and traveled back to our Airbnb in Sekime, Takadono. We also did our laundry and ate dinner.